former British Army officer from Leeds has been sentenced to 2 years in a notorious Afghan prison for corruption. Bill Shaw was detained in Kabul on March the 4th and was accused of paying a $20,000 or £13,000 bribe to Afghan officials for the return of 2 armoured vehicles belonging to the company. Now, he's currently serving a 2-year sentence in a Kabul prison after being prosecuted by an anti-corruption tribunal. His family insist he has done nothing wrong and have launched a campaign for his release. Well, joining me now is Bill's daughter, Lisa. Thank you very much for joining us, Lisa. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to chat to us today. Just explain how your dad ended up in this situation, then.
It began in October 2009 when he had 2 vehicles impounded by the NDS, which is the National Directorate of Security in Afghanistan, and he was asked to pay a release fee in order to have the vehicles returned to the company. So he went along with that. The company had everything fully documented. He went down to do his job and paid the release fee. Following on from that, there was 2 further vehicles impounded a couple of months later, and the company brought this to the government's attention because it kept happening regularly. And investigations started through the Attorney General's office, and my dad was asked to volunteer and help out with the investigations, which he did, and he went along to everything that he was requested to. And as time went on, he realised that the investigations had started to turn towards him, and then the allegations of bribery came about.
So how much contact have you managed to have with him, Lisa?
Not an awful lot, really. I mean, he was arrested on March the 3rd, and he was originally taken to a prison about 2 hours away from where his company currently works. And we had the odd phone call which, if his attorney had gone in to visit him, almost sneaked the phone, and he had a very quick chat with my mum, as in 2-3 minute chat. Otherwise, it was just letters that were being sent through. Once he moved, about 4 weeks later, they moved into another prison, and from then on, we've had absolutely no phone contact with him whatsoever. It's purely letters which we email through to the company, they print off and take in, but they are read by the guard before they're delivered to him. Right.
You mentioned the company there. Have your dad's employers been helping greatly then?
They've been fantastic. There's no way we would have got through any of this without them. They really have supported us from this end, but more importantly, they have provided everything for my dad in country. In the first prison, they had to provide his food, make sure his clothes were washed, provide toiletries, all of his essentials. So that was absolutely vital, and from what we understand, the next prison he's going to be moved to fairly soon, again, the company will be required to do that for him.
And what are conditions like over there? I mean, people hear stories of what prisons are like in, foreign countries, especially like Afghanistan. I mean, what are conditions like over there for him when he's incarcerated, the way he is?
It's difficult to really understand, and Dad will protect the family, as much as he can. He always has and he always will. So we only hear what he wants us to hear as well. But as I say, the first prison, very, very overcrowded. I think there were 20 Afghans in his cell with only 10 beds, and he slept in the corner of the room on the floor with not very much at all. But he made friends with the inmates. That's his character. The one that they moved him to about 4 or 5 weeks ago, he is more isolated, but it's meant to be a more secure prison. So again, from a social point of view, I think that's probably dropped his morale quite a bit.
I can't imagine how difficult this must be for you and the rest of the family. How are you coping with all this?
We're coping well, but I think that's because we're purely focused on the campaigns that we're trying to run to release him. And that gives us the focus to keep going, really. And we don't believe he's going to be in there for 2 years. He hasn't done anything wrong. There was no evidence against him. And we really have to remain optimistic that he will be let out within the next few months, the way we would like to see it.
So tell us a bit more about this campaign for his release then, Lisa. What are you doing?
There are 2 Facebook groups set up. One is support for Billy Shaw, ex-RMP, because he's ex-Royal Military Police. And the other one is Free Bill Shaw. And between the 2 of those, there are now over 4,000 members. And all you have to do is read the remarks to understand the character of my father and to understand why he's got the amount of support and why he really is the wrong person to be in the position he's currently in. We also have Petition Online, which, again, there are links through Facebook in order to get onto that and sign it. We currently have over 2,000 signatures, and we're just asking people to log on, read about the campaign, understand what it is we're asking, and to please sign that name. And when we can get to number 10, we will be delivering it to the Prime Minister. And we also have a Twitter campaign going as well, so that we can follow anybody that wants to follow the updates and things that might be happening in the campaign. Please log on and have a look at that.
Well, Lisa, thank you very much for coming on and sharing your situation with us, and, fingers crossed he'll be back home with his loved ones very soon. I appreciate you taking the time to chat. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Lisa Luckin-Malone there from Leeds, Bill Shaw's daughter. Bill Shaw, of course, detained in Kabul on March the 4th, accused of paying a $20,000 bribe to Afghan officials for the return of 2 armoured vehicles belonging to the company he was working for, and now serving a 2-year sentence in a Kabul prison after being prosecuted by an anti-corruption tribunal. Now, we did invite the Foreign Office to come onto the show and talk about this case, but instead they sent us this statement. A Foreign and Commonwealth Office spokesperson said, and I quote, "We continue to follow Bill Shaw's case very closely following the verdict at a court hearing on the 26th of April. We shall continue to provide consular assistance to Mr. Shaw and his family, including working to ensure the best possible treatment and facilities. Should Mr. Shaw seek to appeal, we will press the Afghan authorities to ensure that this takes place as soon as possible." That's a statement from the Foreign and Commonwealth